Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to all who are watching today. And thank you so much for joining me on the Community Ledger. Again, my name is Andrea Banu, and today I want to hop into the topic of Stephen A. Smith running for president in 2028. Yes, I know a lot of you may have seen they have been polling, the Democratic Party that is, polling who you think should run for 2028. And Stephen A. Smith's name keeps coming up. And so he's going to address it. And then I also want you video about what some other political figures are saying about his candidacy. So go ahead and relax and come on back so we can enjoy the show. Again, thank you so much for joining me today. Again, my name is Andrea Banu, and if you have not already, please do me a favor and go ahead and click that subscribe button so that I can get all the love and continue to share this information with you as a community. And so today we're going to play some information or a video that Stephen A. just put out with regards to his polling. So it looks like he's been utilized in a lot of polls with regards to presidential candidates for 2028, and he definitely has an interesting take on why he thinks that is. Let's take a look.
Here over the digital airwaves of YouTube and, of course, iHeartRadio. Let me switch to a subject near and dear to my heart. Me. Because, once again, I'm in the news. And you would think it would be about something else other than what I'm in the news for. But one thing after another has appeared. I had a couple of articles that I had to pay attention to this week. And there is no way around this. So I'm going to tackle it with the fervor that it deserves and let you know what I'm thinking. The Daily Beast last week wrote the headline is Top Dem. A lot to like about Stephen A. Smith's presidential bid. That is House Minority Speaker Hakeem Jeffries, who I hope will be on this show in the very near future. Another article came out this weekend by The New Yorker. Headline, Stephen A. Smith for president. NewYorker.com. Check it out. I must admit, I got on like a lavender blazer with a lavender shirt and a purple tie. I was looking pretty fly, if I should say so myself. I just want to throw that out there. Okay? And now the latest is courtesy of TMZ. Now, mind you, USA Today, Washington Post, various other publications have written about this as well. Stephen A. Smith, I am not running for U.S. president. This is when TMZ caught me coming out of a Shannon Sharp's party in New Orleans during Super Bowl week. And I guess they ran this recently. And I wanted to go there because I wanted to make sure that I put this to bed once and for all. I have no intentions of running for the presidency of the United States of America. I do not believe I am an aficionado. I do not believe that my pockets are deep enough for me to ignore the financial strain that could potentially have on me, because obviously I earn more than the president of the United States right now. He makes about $400,000 a year. That position there is. Senate and congressional figures make anywhere from $170,000 to $270,000 a year. Needless to say, I make more money than that. And so I'm not really interested on that level. But here's a reason why, while being honest about having zero desire whatsoever to be a politician, because I consider them beggars, donors, campaign donations, sponsors and, political figures. And even when you get into office, you got to curry favor with politicians to get legislation pushed through and all of this other stuff. I mean, it's just, No peace in my life, plus it's giving you a license because I'm asking to legislate the lives of 350 plus American citizens. That gives you a license to get into my personal business, that I don't want you in that. All of that's true. But there's a reason that while saying what I've said and meaning it, I've often said, even in a half-joking way, if the American people wanted me to be the president of the United States and I knew that I had a really, really good shot to win, I can't deny that it's something I would consider. Let me tell you why I say that. Because I think our system sucks. I think the binary system that we're in, where we have to choose between the Democrats or the Republicans, is a joke. I think it dissuades a vast majority of American citizens from wanting to be a part of the political process. And I think that something needs to be done about it in order to bring America back to where it should have always been. Ladies and gentlemen, I cover sports for a living. Griff, Sherry, Rashawn, everybody listen up, because I'm only going to say this once. It's very, very, very important. Because I know, like I told America before, I've got a bunch of liberals working for me. Some are closet Republicans. They don't want to admit it, but it's true. We got a bunch of liberals working for me in the whole bit. Let me be very, very clear about where I stand. Wes, you need to listen to, damn it. You got a family. Listen to me. Listen when I'm talking to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I cover sports for a living. I like competition. I want legitimate competition between the Republican and the Democratic Party over your ideas of what the country should be and how we can get it there. I hate it when the left, because I firmly believe they politicized a whole bunch of legal stuff against Donald Trump. I'm not questioning the legitimacy or lack thereof. I don't know.
And see, that right there is a problem for the Democratic Party. I wanted to pause on that. He's going to say a whole lot more in regards to what the Democratic Party is failing at right now. But that right there hit the nail on the head. You have all of these Democrats. You have all of these we're just going to say, we're not even going to say Democrats, just voters in general who genuinely feel like all of those lawsuits against Donald Trump was for political purposes. And none of it ended up sticking. Like, we saw that after he won the election, one by one, bloop, 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 they all just dropped off. Everything in Fulton County, everything with Alan Bragg out in New York, even the judge was holding it, waiting to sentence him until after the election. And then after the election, when he won, was like, okay, it's a mute efforts. We still gonna label you a felon, but you're not gonna do no time. You're not gonna pay no money. All bullshit. All bullshit. So it's like, okay, so obviously all of these charges were politically motivated. And he makes up a very good point that, truth be told, I didn't really even pay much attention to. He was competition. Of course, they hate him, but truth of the matter is none of them felt they could genuinely beat him. And that is really the crux of it, because now they're going to have to stand on their own because he can't run again. So they're going to have to really come out in this primary and this next presidential election, because they ain't working with much. They ain't working with nothing at all.
You got the 11,000 votes he was seeking in Georgia. You got the 34 felony convictions he received in New York. Some people said it's hush money. Others said, what's the difference between that and an NDA? Damn it, the man cooked up with a porn star and didn't want anybody to know before the election. Oh my God, stop the presses. John Edwards got loose as a Democratic nominee or a Democratic candidate. When he was running for the presidency, he didn't want people to know. I'm quite sure he would have hit it if he could have gotten away with it. Gary Edwards did the same thing. You don't think Clinton tried to submerge evidence against him with the whole Monica Lewinsky scandal? Come on.
He tried.
I think it was politicized to some degree anyway. And I hated that, because what I was saying is beat him. Go back to the tapes. Griff, nod your head if I'm lying. I was saying beat him. Don't pussyfoot around. Don't depend on the legal system to wipe him out so you don't have to go against him in the polls. beat him. What's one of the reasons I think he lost? I think he won. Because he was saying, you can't beat me. You're using this to get help because you can't beat me on your own. And sure enough, election day rolls around and the Democrats got their ass kicked. Mm-hmm. I don't want to hear this noise about how he didn't get 50% of the vote. 49.8% he got. Kamala got 48.3%. The man won 50 counties and went up in every one of them. He won all 6 or 7 swing states. The black vote, the Hispanic vote, the young voters all voted for him. He won. He won. Because we didn't want to engage in competition on the left. We were looking for the courts to help us. Now we fast forward. And what are we saying here? I'm reading an article right here. New York Times. I'm reading it right here. New York Times. Headline: venting at Democrats and fearing Trump, liberal donors pull back cash. I'm going to read a couple of excerpts from here from you. The small dollar online spigot that powered opposition to the first Trump administration has slowed to a trickle as shaken liberal voters withhold their donations. Charitable foundations that have long supported causes like voting rights, LGBTQ equality, and immigrants' rights are pulling back the voting time to prepare for expected investigations from the Republican-led Congress. And some of the country's biggest liberal donors, have paused giving, frustrated with what they see as Democrats' lack of vision and worried about retaliation from a vengeful president. Some Democrats say a few of their reliable donors are now openly supporting Mr. Trump, or at least looking to curry favor with him. In another paragraph, it says, while Mr. Trump has not taken action against any liberal groups or lawmakers, Democrats worry his frequent threats of retribution during the campaign have led to a chilling effect on the charitable foundations and nonprofit advocacy groups that have long been pillars of the country's civil society. Jeff Skoll, a Silicon Valley billionaire and a longtime friend of Elon Musk, said there was an awful lot of pressure to side with Trump. This month, Mr. Skoll, who's donated tens of millions to Democratic candidates and causes in recent years, but said he did not vote in 2024 presidential election, posted a photo on social media of himself standing with Mr. Trump backstage at the inauguration. On Friday, he had breakfast in Palm Beach, Florida, with Senator Chuck Schumer of New York, the minority leader, where they discussed the prospect of Mr. Schumer's using Mr. Skoll to back-channel ideas to the president.
Are you overwhelmed by your payday loan debt? Have you taken out?
Let's get past that.
United States. I will never do that. But we got to be real about something here. When she ran for election on her own, she couldn't make it to Iowa in 2020. She ultimately positions herself against the vice presidency. They win the election in 2020. Joe Biden.
Let me go back.
Running for the presidency. He didn't want people to know. I'm quite sure he would have hit it if he could
Damn. I'm sorry, y'all.
Recalls the conversation differently, according to an aide. Run for something, which works to elect liberal down ballot candidates, laid off 35% of its staff late last year. And Gelsen, GLSEN, a group dedicated to protect the LGBTQ students, laid off 25 people last month. Let me tell y'all something. If you're the Democrats, that's why Stephen A. Smith is in the news. Because y'all don't have anybody.
Y'all suck.
You don't have anybody. Who you got? Who you got? Kamala Harris better not run. She better not run. She's not going to win the presidency in 2028. Keep in mind, respect for her. I'm not going to disrespect the former vice president of the United States. I will never do that. But we got to be real about something here. When she ran for election on her own, she couldn't make it to Iowa in 2020. She ultimately positions herself against the vice presidency. They win the election in 2020. Joe Biden is feeling himself after the liberals won the midterms. And instead of being a transitional president like he promised, the man backstabbed the Liberal Party and turned around and said, I'm staying. They wanted him out. So what did everybody, we all know this now. Boo Boo the Fool can see what happened now. You knew he had lost a step. We don't know what the hell was wrong with him, but clearly his fastball was gone. So you have no primary. You fix it so he doesn't have to face a primary. And then you put him on stage last June 27th for a debate. He embarrasses himself, and 3 weeks later, he has to bow out so Kamala Harris can come in as a Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States of America at a time when they didn't have any time to put somebody else in to compete with her.
And they didn't
You
want
don't
her.
overcome that after losing the election. America ain't going to go for it on the left. They ain't going to go for it.
Right. All of that, everything that he just listed is true. We already knew Biden was senile. We already knew he could barely walk. He could barely talk. They was lying to our faces every step of the way, including Kamala Harris. Then all of a sudden they push him out. Okay. To this day, this man is still convinced that he could run and beat Trump, which we know is ridiculous. Okay. So they pushed him out. They ushered in Kamala Harris, gave us Kamala Harris, and they didn't even want her. The parties, the power players, the Obama, the Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, none of them wanted Kamala, but they was afraid they was going to lose that black vote if they skipped over her. Okay. And they felt like, okay, black women, because black women showed out for Biden during his, the 2020 election. So they felt like, okay, was it 2020? Yeah. 2020 election. Black women, Stacey Abrams, all these people galvanized to get this man in, and is still under debate whether or not he really had all them damn 80 million votes or whatever the hell they said he got that miraculously disappeared this last election. But nonetheless, I digress. They already knew this man was not going to be able to run. They ushered her in because they felt like we do not want to offend black women, who is a huge voter base. So they threw this woman in and was like, put rainbows and all this other nonsense around her and was like, she is the second coming. Okay. You need to vote her. She is better than Obama. She is the greatest gift we ever gave you. Get on board. And then you see all the lies, all the bullshit, all the propaganda, all the word salads, all the nonsense. And then you still lying. You still telling us it's BS going on. And and that Kamala Harris is like a viable candidate next go round. Like, how do you just shake all that off? How do you do that much damage to your party? And then you lost. You lost miserably against Trump. You lost miserably. So as Democrats, how do you even come back from that without no real tangibles, without no real solid candidate? And they do not have anybody, which is what he's stating. That is why his name is even being thrown in the bucket, because they ain't got nobody. I'm gonna show you who this mainstream media is claiming are legitimate candidates, and it is laughable. Okay, laughable.
For it. Who else you got? Hakeem Jeffries?
No.
I personally support Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland, but I don't know how much of a national figure he is. I already interviewed Josh Shapiro. And oh, by the way, to the Republicans listening out there, you're welcome to come on the Stephen A. Smith Show. I'm not one-sided. See, this is why my name is in the election. You hear me, Griff? You hear me, Wes? You hear me, Sherry? You hear me, Rashad? You hear me? The Stephen A. Smith team I'm talking to. That's why I'm in the news. Mm-hmm. I'm not in the news because I'm here. I'm in the news because the Democratic Party is here. Mm-hmm. Damn it, lower than that. Down at the bottom. They suck right now. Horrible.
100%.
Because they don't have a voice. Where the hell is the voice? And everybody want to sit up there and talk about, we don't need a voice. 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 Well, guess what? Somebody got to send the message. How the hell can somebody receive a message if there's no messenger?
Right.
You got to do it. And they don't have anybody. That's why Stephen A. Smith is a candidate. Who the hell?
And that's the problem. The Democrats have been skating through these campaigns and through these political positions for decades. Ever since Obama came in, everything was just a cakewalk. And they thought it was going to be a cakewalk with Hillary Clinton. And that whole Trump win that first time around, everybody was shooketh after that. They were like, how the hell did this happen? And they ain't been able to recover. So and then Biden came back and they were like, whoo, it was just a glitch. Biden won. Okay, we back in it. No, not at all. And this election proved, listen, the people are tired of this nonsense that the Democrats are pulling. They've been skating for so long. They've been playing games for so long. They feel like they ain't even got to work for it. They feel like it's owed to them. They're just supposed to maintain power for all eternity. And then not only that, they ushered in all this nonsense. They ushered in all these immigrants. They ushered in all this LGBTQ nonsense. They ushered in all these, paying all this damn money internationally. They feel like we Democrats. We do whatever the hell we want to do, and ain't nobody gonna check us, and they gonna vote for our asses again next year. And it's been working. It's been working. And so now Trump came in. You had all these damn Americans vote for him to be in office. They support all the shit he's doing this last month, and they don't know what the hell to do because they ain't even had to use their brain for years. They ain't had to come up with no real legislation. They ain't had to really address the people for years. Specifically, the black community. Okay, what happened to the George Floyd Policing Act? What happened to that? We ain't got to pass shit. And they going to come and they going to vote for our asses. They've been doing it for years. We ain't got to get a black community a damn thing. And they're going to come out and they're going to vote for our asses. We ain't got to do shit. And now, the tide is turning. You got all these people on social media dragging all these politicians. Stay and listen. If you don't want to vote for Trump, don't vote for him. Stay your ass at home. Vote against blue no matter who. They wasn't ready for it. They were not ready for it. And that's why they ain't been able to bounce back. That's why they can't even come back on these news podcasts and say a game plan because they ain't got one. They ain't had one. Everything has been handed to them. They've been just coasting for decades. And now they're going to have to work for it. And it's gonna be an uphill battle.
I told y'all I'd want to be a Democrat. I have conservative ideas. I believe in free market capitalism. I believe in patrolling our borders. I believe in strong national security. But you are right. I'd probably be a Democrat, a moderate, a centrist leaning left. I'm about that Bill Clinton, Newt Gingrich agreement. I'm about that surplus when Clinton walked out of office. I'm about Obama deporting more than Trump did, but the American public didn't notice.
That part.
I'm about a strong economy. I want Griff to get paid. I want Chevy to get paid. I want Galen to get paid. I want Rashawn to get paid. I just want to get paid too. You really think that Stephen A. Smith would tolerate crime in the streets to the point where you got to let 3 people in the store at a time? Do you know anything about me? Do you know what I would do as commander-in-chief if I saw crime raiding through our streets and it was affecting jobs and safety and ultimately the economy? Do you know who the hell you're talking to or listening to? Hell, Trump might not have anything on me. With that, I ain't having it. I ain't having it. So I'm just saying to y'all, that's why I'm a candidate. It ain't because I want to. It ain't because I'm some expert. It ain't because I'm some aficionado who's saying that I know more. You know how much I would have to learn? Hell, I don't even know how to pronounce most foreign dignitaries' names. The sad part is that I'd still beat any Democrat out there right now. Because who the hell is resonating with the American people? Hell, even Josh Shapiro came on the show, who I like a lot, by the way. And even he talked about, I'm just concentrating on Pennsylvania. What? What? We need more than that. I have no interest in getting involved. More so than pundency and commentary. But you better hope I stay feeling that way.
Uh-oh.
Because let me tell you something right now. I said I'll bring the rain. I lied. I'd bring hell. Hell. Because I ain't playing. I'm there to win. Our 2-party system sucks. You think I like what I see Elon Musk doing? I don't know.
And I'm going to stop it right there just because he goes on Elon Musk and a bunch of other things. But I just really wanted to give you the gist of his sentiment. He is being put into the bucket in terms of, or being added to the list of possible candidates because they ain't got nobody else. It's a joke right now. It's a joke. But Americans not laughing. Americans are not laughing. They are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And Democrats are out here playing games. And we had James Carville, who had his opinion. And you know who he is. Hold on, let me go ahead and pause this. And James Carville, he is heavy into politics, and he's a diehard Democrat. He said there's three things in his life he'll never change, and that's going to be his gender, his sexual orientation, his gender, and his political party. So he ain't never going to leave the side of the Democratic Party. And this entire campaign, he was sitting there talking about Kamala gonna win, she gonna win. He knew damn well that woman was not gonna win. He knew she wasn't qualified. He knew she was a mess. He knew she wouldn't answer no questions. He knew damn well she was a poor choice. And the whole time, all the way up until the night of the election, this man was like, "Come, she's gonna bring it. She gonna pull through." And I'm like, who does he think is watching? Who does he think he talking to? Stevie Wonder could see this woman was a hot mess. Okay, everybody knew this woman was not gonna win. To me, it was obvious. Okay, it was obvious long before election night. But I want you to hear his opinion of how Stephen A. as a potential candidate.
Big Stephen A. Smith fan. I remember I saw him some years ago on TV, and I said, "Man, this guy's coming in hot. I don't know how long this is going to last." The truth about it, he's really worn well with me. He's very outspoken. Look, he's like anybody else. Does any kind of commentary, sports commentary. He's sometimes wrong. Way more times he's right. I find him to be, when it comes to sports, I find him to be really insightful. When it comes to politics, he don't know his ass from a hole in the ground. He's on that running his goddamn mouth about TV.
Stephen A. Hold on. Stephen A. don't know his ass from a hole in the ground. But you told all of us Kamala was about to win. Okay, and once she lost horribly, might I add, you came all over national television and talked about she was a 7th-string quarterback. Okay, you dragged the broad and said we knew from day one she was a 7th-string quarterback. Well, but you told everybody she was qualified and she was amazing and she was gonna win. But now you want to try to check Stephen A. Smith and say he don't know what he talking about with regards to politics. I think you need to have several seats.
Coming in hot. I don't know how long this is going to last. The truth about it, he's really worn well with me. He's very outspoken. Look, he's like anybody else. Does any kind of commentary, sports commentary. He's sometimes wrong. Way more times he's right. I find him to be, when it comes to sports, I find him to be really insightful. When it comes to politics, he don't know his ass from a hole in the ground. He's on that running his goddamn mouth about how he may have to run as a Democrat because there's nothing left of the Democratic Party. There's no talent. Stephen A., are you shitting me? I mean, you say you're friends with Wes Moore and you say you're friends with Josh Shapiro. Well, I'm friends with both of them. I think they're really extraordinary, talented people. But I got news for you, dude. There's 6 or 7 other people in the Democratic Party that are just that talented.
Well, where they at? Where they at, James Carville? Where are they? Because we don't know who the hell they are. Only you know who they are. And if only you know who they are, they can't win shit. Who are these people? Who are these amazing people who are so talented that we've never heard of? Please, can you introduce them to the public?
So before you start running your fucking mouth off about politics, a topic of which you really don't know anything about, you ought to sit back and think about it and call some people and run it by them. But don't let your political stupidity stand in the way of your outspoken and I think often insightful views when it comes to American sports, of which I think you are an expert at. And if you know Wes and you know Josh, you should call them and run your opinions by them because I know both of them and they're both smart guys. And they're both very ambitious guys. And the last thing that they're thinking is, if I decide that I want to take the next step in American politics, I'm going to be facing some brutal opposition. And they both know that. And they know it deep down and they know it well. So Stephen A., keep up your shit on sports. I enjoy it. I like it. But don't make a fool of yourself anymore in talking about politics.
He has some nasty words for Stephen A. And for you to be the aficionado, for you to be the connoisseur in politics, you should have been able to see that Kamala was a flop. You should have been able to see that. Since you know politics so well, you should have knew. You should have known that the broad was not going to win. Okay? You should have known that she was a poor choice. You should have known that she don't never need to be stepping out on this public platform talking about running for a political position ever again. Okay? And you didn't say that to the public until she lost. How convenient. And now you want to go in here and try to check Stephen A. because ain't nobody out here really making no real moves. And Stephen A. said he talked to Josh Shapiro. And Josh Shapiro said he focused on Philadelphia. So there you go. Okay. And truth be told, I thought Josh Shapiro, I'm not ruling him out. I do think that it's a possibility that he will run in 2028, but yet we'll see, because he ain't being very vocal. He being real quiet. So we don't know what's going to happen with him. But nonetheless, I want to show you this article that they put out. What is this magazine? Newsweek put out about who they think is going to be some top contenders for 2028. Democrats' 2028 primary polls, what early data shows. Let me just read this nonsense to you. The 2028 Democratic presidential primary may still be more than 3 years away, but there are already a steady trickle of polls on potential candidates, with some early frontrunners starting to emerge. Why it matters? Democrats lost control of the House and Senate in the 2024 election. After losing control of the House in the 2022 midterm, with former President Joe Biden choosing to bow out of the 2024 race late in the cycle. He ain't choose nothing. He was booted, okay? But nonetheless, and Vice President Kamala Harris failing to defeat President Donald Trump. In November, the Democrats have been left without a clear leader moving forward. Is that not what Stephen A. just said? Is that not what he just said? Democrats have been left without a clear leader moving forward. Although the 2028 election is a little under 4 years away, pollsters are already fielding surveys to get a glimpse of what Democratic voters are thinking about the future. The polling shows a few prominent Democrats taking an early lead. Let me show you what they talking about. Kamala Harris. Kamala's all you got? Kamala? That's your front runner? For real? For real? Now, mind you, this woman, like he said, could not compete during the very original primary in 2016. She didn't get 1%. So when she ran on her own merit, she was a flop. Okay. And even when it was handed to her on a silver platter with over $1 billion in campaign funds, she flopped. So why are you convinced? And before I even go there, not only did she do worse than Biden, she did worse than Hillary Clinton. She did worse than Obama. Statistics say this woman performed worse than any Democratic candidate since 1960. Let that sink in. Okay? That is how horrible of a candidate this woman is. And you even got her on that list? How do you even have this woman on the list? But I digress. That's how you know Democrats playing. They not serious. They playing. Harris's future plans are not clear, but there is significant speculation that she will run to be California's next governor in 2026. Again, hot mess. As the state's current Democratic governor, Gavin Newsom, is term limited. Polling has suggested she'd be the front runner if she throws her hat in the running for that race. The most recent poll looking at the 2028 Democratic primary was carried out by Echelon Insights from February 10th to 13th with 443 likely voters. The survey showed Harris is the top choice with 36% support. 36% support is not a good look, boo. Okay, but nonetheless, Pete Buttigieg. For real? Are you serious right now? Are you Pete Buttigieg? Are you serious? For real? For real? Now, you know he was the Secretary of Transportation. They got a photo going all over the internet of him with nursing his new baby. Now, the photograph is not real, but it shows how American public thinks of him. Yes, he is an openly gay man. He is married. He has a husband. They've adopted some children, or I don't know what they did, but they got children. And so, yeah, like he's not a good look, and nobody's paying attention to Pete Buttigieg as the president of the United States. Are you serious? If he was a viable candidate, you would have already put him in there, but he's not. Gavin Newsom. I want to see Gavin Newsom try to run for president after that stunt he pulled in California. And I'm not talking about these fires. I'm talking about that stunt he pulled with all them black people in the National Black Caucus, Black Caucus in California, where he skirted that reparations bill. Had all the black folks in California pissed. And then all of California, tons of California burnt down, just caught fire, gone, right? And he was just like, not really doing much about it. From our vantage point, he did not favor well with regards to his response to all those California fires. And now you running for president? How, Sway? How? Okay, and look, the next one. This is a list of potential candidates. These are the front runners. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Now, this is the same woman who I just did a video about, who is assisting murderers and assault. I don't even know what the term. I'm trying not to get demonetized on this. People who have come abroad and who have committed acts of crimes against women and children and have unalived a whole lot of people. She's trying to protect them. She is doing webinars on how you can evade police and ICE, the criminals. That woman. She the one that could be potentially running for president. You even got Tim Walz on there. Tim Walz, if you remember, was Kamala Harris's running mate. Tim Walz. You got Tim Walz, Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, and Gavin Newsom. I'm here to tell you, Democrats, y'all ain't got shit. If that's what you working with, y'all gonna lose. Do you realize how many people cannot stand AOC? Do you realize how horrible Kamala is? She can't even answer a question. You think she learned how to answer questions or tell the truth during this time? No, because she don't think it's a problem. She gonna get back on that campaign trail and say the same nonsense she did the first time around. Because she don't think nothing is wrong. And she will say whatever the hell is necessary to get her in that next position. She don't give a damn about America. That's who you gonna put up there? Pete Buttigieg, Gavin Newsom? None of them are favorable. None. So how are you going to win another election? How are you going to win in the primary? How are you going to win in this next election? I want somebody to get in the comments and tell me what the game plan is. If you are a staunch Democrat and you have faith in all of these potential candidates, please explain to me how you're going to pull it off. How? I want to see. I want to know something, because ain't nobody saying nothing. Nobody's saying, you know what, we messed up. We need to start talking about or talking to the public, the working class citizens. We need to really reevaluate how much money, how much tax dollars are going abroad. We need to look at some of these organizations. We need to look at some of these studies. We need to look at gas prices and grocery prices and housing prices. And we got to do something to help Americans. Ain't none of them saying that. None of them saying that. The only person that I have seen on national media state we look crazy is Van Jones. Van Jones. He is the only person that I have seen admit, you know what, we look crazy out here. But he ain't running for nothing. But the rest of them are like, listen, we've been doing this for years. We ain't gave these people shit. And we're going to keep doing it like this. They figure they just going to keep on playing it the same way they've been playing it, and it's going to work out. And I don't know what to tell you. I'm assuming they think, okay, Trump is only going to do 4 years and then we're going to be back in action. But J.D. Vance don't play. J.D. Vance ain't no slouch. I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't really pay no attention to VPs, but that entire campaign that Trump ran, I was on J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance ain't come to play. That man is incredibly articulate, incredibly intelligent. He's incredibly conservative, and he ain't playing. Okay? So if he chooses to run in 2028, Democrats, you got a problem on your hands. You got a problem on your hands. And all these people who support Trump gonna support Vance because they have the same ideals. They cut from the same cloth. And you ain't got nobody. Especially if you throw Kamala Harris up there. Can you imagine that? J.D. Vance against Kamala Harris. J.D. Vance against Gavin Newsom. J.D. Vance against AOC or Pete Buttigieg. That's a flop already. You done. So again, I am so disappointed in the Democrats. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I would like to hear from all the Democrats who are watching this video. If you still have faith in this crazy ass party and you still believe that they can pull one out at the last minute and it's somebody that is not on our radar that needs, a looking at, please put it in my comments, because I want to see. I want to do the research. I want to see what y'all got, because I'm not seeing it. I watched the news Sunday where Hakeem Jeffries talked about being a leader in the Democratic Party. And like I said, the internet is calling him Timu Obama. That lets you know how much respect he has right now. And Obama do not have the respect he used to. So if they calling you the whack version of him, baby, you ain't got a chance. You ain't got a chance. So again, thank you so much for joining me with this commentary and all this crazy stuff that's going on in politics and what's happening with this Democratic Party. Is it going to recover? Can it recover from the Trump era, so to speak? And what's going to happen in 2028? Please jump in the comments. If you have not already, do like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, this is the Community Ledger. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and watch the next video by clicking right here.